now we're in the commune of St Julien. We have Pauillac to the north and we have Margaux to the south. Planted here are just under 900 hectares of vines. We're a little bit inland from the banks of the river here, so in the soils we see less of that heavy, rich gravel. We see a little bit more clay mixed in there. This tends to make, even though they still have the same proportion of Cabernet Sauvignon planted here, the wines tend to be a little less heavy, a little less masculine, a little bit less punchy. The wines tend to be slightly more perfumed, slightly more feminine in style, but equally as long-lived. There are no Premier Cru Classes here, but there are an awful lot of class growths, including 5 very famous second growths. So that would be the 3 Léavilles, Léaville Barton, Léaville Poiferret and Léaville Les Casses, as long with Chateau Gruat la Rose and Chateau du Cru Becaillou. So now we're at Chateau Lagrange. We're still in St Julien. We're right at the far back of St Julien, so kind of a couple of 100 meters in this direction we come to the end of the appellation of St Julien. So as we can see here, we're a couple of kilometers away from the edge of the Gironde, edge of those gravel banks, and when we look at the soil here, we can see, as compared to somewhere like Château Latour, still gravel pebbles, but tiny gravel pebbles, nowhere near the size of what we did have. An awful lot of dark sand, a bit of clay mixed into this soil, so we've really moved away from those thick gravel banks that we saw up in Pauillac and over by the edge of the river. It very, very clearly shows the definition of one side of the stream we have the appellation of St Julien, and on this side of the stream we have the appellation of Pauillac. It really does demonstrate well where one of those huge gravel mounds ends and where the next one begins. We're at Chateau Léaville Barton in St Julien, a 47 hectare estate which is run by Englishman Anthony Barton from a long line of Bartons originating from Ireland many years ago. One of the most noble things I think can be said about Anthony Barton is that he's refused to get into this kind of constant price hiking war that they seem to do a lot in Bordeaux at the moment. Anthony Barton always keeps his wines at a very reasonable price. He's well known for his fairness in that respect, and the style of wines that he makes at Léaville Barton are really a traditionalist's delight. So they're lean, well-structured, well-perfumed styles of St Julien. The blend of the wine is about 72% Cabernet Sauvignon, 20% Merlot and about 8% Cabernet Franc. So we're right over on the far eastern side of the appellation of St Julien. We're not that far from the river, we're about half a kilometre away from the river, but compared to Chateau Lagrange that was well inland, if you look at the soils here, we can start to see, even in St Julien, we're getting that clay and sand type of soil. We're still going back to a lot of that pebbly alluvial deposits that we saw so prominently back up the road to the north in Pauillac. So great combinations of food to go with St Julien might include things like roasted duck from Gascony, maybe char-grilled Côte de Boeuf, and with the more aged styles of wine, things like game birds with truffles and mushrooms. Good vintages for this region really were similar to most of Bordeaux. They include the fabulous trio of vintages of 88, 89 and 90, the 96 vintage, the 2000 vintage, 05 and most recently 2010.